The deadline in this sector for voluntary presentation at the experimental center is 6 o'clock.
You're supposed to be an artist. Use your imagination.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm all out.
What's happening, everybody? Sheldon J. Think About It Radio. I got another great show for you tonight. I got a young man, 50 grand, MMA fighter, young man. Won his first fight at 10, 14 years old right now, and it don't stop there. Young college student. Yeah, he fights with his mind also, as well as with his fists. None other than Mr. Matthew Lawrence, a.k.a. Cobra. How you doing, young man?
How's it going? Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's all good, young man. Young man, it's all good. With your busy schedule, thank you for taking the time.
I literally just got off of practice like 30 minutes ago, so
see?
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, you're a very interesting young man. You know, very powerful in your conversations, very humble in your demeanor, and I'm just really proud and inspired, like I said, to talk to you, and just like I said, because when I first met with your father, man, I mean, if a light had a certain wattage that was out of this world, that would be the light that he had when he talked about you. I mean, he just lit up, man. So you're an awesome young man, and I want to get to know you just by having a conversation with him. So I want to thank your father for, you know, even having that conversation with me, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Now, let's talk about Mr. Matt Lawrence.
Yeah.
Who are you, man? I mean, what made you want to do MMA? I mean, you could have done anything, right? I mean, what made you go that direction with your life, my man?
Well, it's kind of inspiring how my dad was a very negative person when he was a teenager, kind of how I'm growing up now. But back in the day, you know, he was almost a black belt in Taekwondo, but he got his knee hurt playing football as well. So he resorted to backstreet fighting for money in Spring Branch, and, you know, he just took the wrong path. But when I came along, everything changed for him. He said that, really, I'm the only reason that he's living, and that just wants me to strive every single day with life itself. And along with that, it was around third grade. He was like, all right, Matt, so you're doing really good in school, and you become that athletic type of person, so what do you want to do? And he asked, well, you want to do baseball? I said, no. He said, you want to do football? I said, eh. He said, you want to do basketball? I was like, I'm too short, Dad. So he was like, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a fighter like you, Dad. And he thought about it, like, oh, here we go. So right after that, you know, we looked around for an MMA gym, and we found Gracie Barra Champions. And after I signed up, after my first 2 classes, I was hooked, and it just became part of my life ever since.
So you were hooked, huh?
Yeah.
I can dig you, man. Well,
from the first breakfast sweat, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's a very inspiring story, though, man, because you took something that was initially negative and you turned it into something positive, and then your dad is your role model, your hero, and you just form a lot of your things after the inspiration that was laid in front of you, and you chose a path of something, like I said, that you found out that you were good at. Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the beauty of it, though, man. It sounds like a young man that you're living in your purpose. And you just, you know, you seem like you've only even scratched the surface. You scratched the surface, man, of what you can do. Because even with the MMA, you were saying that you're doing your early college student, right? Or doing like advanced college classes and things of that nature, right?
Yes, sir.
See? And now, if I'm correct, you won your first fight at 10 years old, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It was excuse me?
How did that feel?
Well, it's really not a feeling. It's kind of just like, you know, stare down between one person and the other, locked in between 2 fences, like fences and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, the adrenaline's always going to be pumping no matter what, but it's just how you're going to handle it. I mean, you can't think before, you can't think after, you can't think during it, and you just got to, you know, just go out on it. But sometimes when it comes to that situation, you have to think about it. But just from like a kid standpoint, from 10 years old in a gym that I don't know, people paying $20 a ticket to see me fight. I mean, it's just coming through my head before a fight, and when I just get in, it's just, you know, well, whatever happens, you know?
Yeah, that's good, man. I mean, at 10 years old, though. Now, one on the outside looking in, right, would say that's a lot of pressure for such a young kid, right?
Yeah, me and my dad, he's always been talking to me about it. He's like, you know what? every time I talk to somebody, it's not me just bragging. You gotta look from the outside in while you're looking from the inside out. You can't be looking at it from an ant. You gotta be looking at it from a bird. And he said that, yeah. And he said, you know, just because I'm your father doesn't mean I'm bragging about it. It's just I just want people to know how proud I am of you. And it just, you know, it just sheds a tear every single time he talks to me about it, and it just makes me want to bond with my dad every single day about it. So that's why we go to jiu-jitsu practice, and that's why we go to different gyms, to go to tournaments, because it's just that feeling that you know you can't make anywhere else.
Yeah, and you can't duplicate it. You're right. You cannot duplicate that feeling. And I mean, it seems like you guys are taking full advantage of the time that you've been given, you know, on this earth, man. And I mean, again, that's beautiful, man. I mean, that's an inspiring story. And I really hope that a lot of people hear this tonight and share it with your friends, whatever, because again, when you see this level of commitment at such a young age, what's your excuse as an adult? You have
Well, I wouldn't really have an excuse. I would just say that I strive, you know, every second of my career.
No, I was saying like any adult doesn't have an excuse, because if you're pursuing it like this at your age, you know what I mean? Adults don't have an excuse, my man.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, then from that point on, then
I was dissing you, my man.
I don't got no bills to pay yet, but I ain't looking forward to it either.
Woo, man! I tell you what, neither are adults, and they don't look forward to it either. That's why sometimes they look up. It's Monday and they're mad, Friday and they're happy.
Yeah, exactly.
And as soon as the first roll around on the third, they sad because all of it goes out. So again, so how do you balance though? You know, being a kid, you know, a young kid, and still doing the things that you do, pursuing the path that you're pursuing. How do you balance that out?
Well, it's really on the timing. I mean, we've been going to different gyms, and we've been seeing what fits our schedule, but the gym that we've been going to is always, you know, it's good when my dad gets home, and good when I get home. We can get there. It's early in the night. You know, I can stay home, do my homework, and go to bed. And it's kind of hard to balance out the work, but I just have to get it done, and it's just something that motivates me even more is my schoolwork and jiu-jitsu at the same time. So if I do my work right, then I know I'm going to do jiu-jitsu right. I do jiu-jitsu right, and I know I'm going to do my work right, because it's just something that bonds and that connects to keep my motor going.
High energy. That's what I'm talking about, man. Keep the motor going and keep that drive alive, man. So you would consider yourself a leader amongst your peers then? I mean, I would consider you to be a leader amongst your peers.
Yes.
Because of how you carry yourself and the knowledge that you have and the willingness that you have to share that knowledge, because you seem like you have a very strong personality and you're solid in who you are. And unfortunately in this life, a lot of people, and you probably seen it yourself at your young age, a lot of people don't really know who they are, and they don't really walk or live in their purpose. And so I applaud you and your dad for recognizing that and walking in that purpose, though. And that's why I believe it's probably not even work to you guys, because it's something that you truly love to do.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, you can't really, I mean, they write books and movies about this kind of stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. So what would you tell, like, to the youth, like people your age, you know, I guess that, because sometimes a lot of kids, I read reports, right, that a lot of youth are depressed, a lot of youth are suicidal, a lot of youth feel like that the world is against them. So what would you tell some young people that kind of feel that way?
Well, I just tell the kids, just do what you love. I mean, it's something that you don't want to be forced into, just don't go into it. Just think about, you know, what would be best for your future, and what would be best for your family, and what would be best for yourself, and just strive for it every step of the way, and just find a way to do it. That's the only way to get through a tough part in your obstacle, is go over, around it, or if not, just bust right through it. It's like, I mean, I used to think that in football. I mean, I played football for 2 years, our 7th and 8th grade year, and I just said, all right, so this happened, I got my shoulder hurt. Well, you know what, let's just fight through it. One practice won't hurt. I kept practicing and never felt it again. So for my advice to kids, just do what you love and just break through the walls getting in your way.
Exactly. Now, what would you tell to the parents sometime of the kids?
The parents, you got to be the number one fan. No matter how, like, I mean, if they're feeling down, I mean, it's cool to miss out on a practice, but you got to be the number one fan. You got to be their manager. You got to be their sponsor. You got to be everything that you can be to them, just to have their inspiration going and have your inspiration going. You got to be a fan of the whole team too. If it's a baseball team, support the whole team and support your kid even the same way as the other ones. If it's an individual sport, support them and their teammates. I mean, it's something that a parent can't replicate with another person, is the bondage between them and their child. So just be the number one fan and just how can I say, just protect them as much as you can, but at the same time let them do what they want to do.
Yeah. I understand. I totally understand that, you know, and that's words of wisdom right there from Mr. Matthew Lawrence. And now you got that on Think About It Radio. Only on Think About It Radio can you get that kind of nugget of information. Only. So in school, what is one of your favorite subjects that you like in school?
My favorite has to be history. I'm a really big history buff, and it's just a very interesting thing to learn about how you're how you got here today. How other people shed the blood in every single battle in America and in the war, so that way you can be able to stand here today as a free American. And it's just an interesting thing just to learn about on specific dates, where it happened, you know, just simple pieces of paper that just changed your life. I mean, you're born as a U.S. citizen, and you have an inalienable rights that was just passed by a little piece of paper in 1776. I mean, yeah, algebra is good, and science is good, and language, but it's just somehow that history just clicks to me all of a sudden.
I like that. That's cool, man. They used to get mad. They used to get mad at me in school. I used to be in school, and they were like, "Well, why you not paying attention, Shield?" And I'm like, "Y'all not talking to me because I'm not in these books. Because I didn't see me represented in them books too much, so I had to sit in the back of the class." They're like, "Man, just if
it ain't happening now, then oh
well." yeah. But it was crazy though. So, what's your least favorite subject?
Excuse me.
What's your least favorite subject?
Oh, it has to be math. I despise math. It's just like why would I need to know what x to the third power is? I mean,
I never had to know it either. Never.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we haven't used coordinate planes for like 3 whole semesters, and I'm over here trying to be a chiropractor. Like, what's the big deal with planes and coordinate grids when you're trying to become a doctor?
Exactly. Exactly. Nothing to do with nothing. I've never had to conjugate a verb either ever since I've been an adult.
Conjunctions. And,
what is your function?
This is how we talk, right? I mean,
yeah, man, it's tough. yeah. You like me in that regard, because I think a lot of the stuff that we're taught in school is really unnecessary information, because what they're not teaching in school is finances, how to, budgeting, economics,
standardized testing.
Yes, sir.
I know the secret behind that, people. I know the secret.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Exclusive. But really though, man, so you're right though. And so I think as now tell me this, as young kids, right? You guys are told, go to school, get your lesson, and then as you go to school and you're like, okay, I don't like none of this stuff, and this is but you just have to go to the motions. If you can really be honest, I guess, with the adults around, what kind of honest conversation would you have with some of the adults when they just say push school, push education, push this, and you're saying it's a lot of useless knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say?
Well, I mean, school is necessary. I mean, everybody deserves an education. I mean, for sure. But it's just, how would the teachers plan ahead of time? What would be your best fit? What would be your best alley? So what I thought for school is, they have separate classes for separate subjects and different, how can I say, different types of math, different types of science, different types of social studies,
Because there's so many
students who need that in their life. So if they want to become a geographer, put them in a geography-only class. If they want to become a surgeon, put them in a biology class. I mean, just for that specific one student.
So now you're just making too much sense, man. You just making too much sense. They're going to mess around and cut me off the air. You making too much sense. You're right. You're right, though. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because the thing about teaching and stuff, man, right, is that they teach one lesson. Everybody is an individual. Everyone learns different. Right? Everyone, it's just like even parenting, right? You'll have 3 kids under the same household, but we give them the same set of rules and expect those kids to act accordingly to the same set of rules. One may be fine with those set of rules, but the other ones, they may be raised a little bit differently.
Exactly,
and, that's the